What's the word, Harrisburg? My name is Matt Maisel. The calendar has turned the page into August, and that means one of the most fun events of the year is coming up. The Dauphin County Cultural Fest, year 16 on its way, and joining us on WHPG Channel 20 to talk about it are Commissioner George Hartwick and Larry Moore. It is so great. It's been it's been a little bit since we've had you guys on Channel 20. Welcome back.
Yes.
Well, I wore my deodorant. I got dressed up for you today. I was hopeful that you would have me back, in shorter time than this long span of
We'll
time.
make sure, moving forward, that it's a little less time than it was.
Just checking to make sure it's not me.
What's the old saying? It's not you, it's me. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming back. How's your summer been?
Been very busy. I'm retired now, and to get dressed up on a morning to come in, it's a tough one. But I've had my grandson all summer long from Lancaster, and so, it's the training thing with the kids nowadays. Just going back and forth for different things. So, it's been a good summer, busy summer, and I can't believe the summer's gone. We're in August.
The legendary and incomparable Coach Moore. How's his game looking so far?
Well, he plays football and he plays basketball. He's just 12 years old. And then I have a grandson, Sekou Bryant, goes to Sci Tech and runs track for Harrisburg High. And he's very, very competitive and above average athlete, student athlete. So very
He's saying
pleased.
above average.
Yeah,
he's one of the fastest kids you'll ever see.
I was going to say, those kids are Mighty Cougars all the way.
and he's a stellar student. I'm talking about high-level Ivy League style.
He's been blessed that he's very, very bright. I don't know. He probably gets them from his dad, but
definitely from Lana. Definitely from. I can attest. It's not coming from Larry.
But no, we've just been blessed. Very, very blessed.
And Commissioner, you've got football coming up.
I do. I actually dropped my son off this morning. He of course notified me this was supposed to be the off week this week, but as coaches should, they have him scheduled for lifting in the morning and an afternoon workout. So. I just wish he'd give me a little bit more notice than about 20 minutes. But 16-year-olders, I want him to be thinking ahead and planning. But he was there, and we were there early, and he's playing center and linebacker for Middletown this year.
This has been one of the fastest summers that I can remember. I've got two kids, 7 and 4, and I was joking around yesterday that I need a summer break for my summer break. It just has been nonstop. But we are here, one of the best events to close every summer in Dauphin County in the city of Harrisburg is the Cultural Fest. Year 16. That is incredible that you guys have been doing this now for 16 years. When you look back to the start of Cultural Fest, and by the way, I should give the date. It's August 17th coming up. August 17th from 3 to 10, Dauphin County Cultural Fest. When you look back to the beginning and to think kind of how far it's come, that's pretty remarkable.
It really is.
It is. We first started when we were talking before the show started, and George, you want to maybe mention that those guys were manning the grills. All the commissioners were cooking hamburgers and hot dogs in the parking lot. At the administrative,
literally cooking while the fest is cooking up.
Well, actually, it was a challenge when I became commissioner a long time ago, almost 20 years ago.
Has it been that long?
It's been a little over 20 years ago. And when I walked into the county, I was a little bit taken back with the lack of sort of cultural diversity and understanding of both who I'm working next to and who I'm serving and who I work for. From my perspective, it was really important for us to be able to make a real effort to begin to get folks out of where they were and understand that number one, we work for the people in this community. It's not the other way around. Mm-hmm. We provide a level of services, and the best way to be able to do that is really to gain some cultural competence, understanding, and to ensure that we have an organization that is both reflective of the people that we serve, but also aware of all the nuances. And, the cultural background includes music, it includes food, it includes dance, it includes all these things that bring us together. Everybody, in today's world wants to focus on our differences and point them out and try to separate us. I think when we understand more about people, the education and the understanding builds both acceptance and love. And the understanding of what we have in common, but also what sort of makes us different and what makes us prideful is really a process that I think has brought what I think is one of the most culturally diverse counties together in a way that weaves it, and with those different cultures together, it's a amount of a strength and fiber that can't be broken.
I want to go back to something you talked about, how when this whole thing started, Dauphin County wasn't as culturally diverse as it is today. And
Right.
Commissioner, you come from a place like Steelton, mayor of Steelton, which is only diverse. Like, I mean, white, black, Hispanic, you name it. And it's been like that for years. How did Dauphin County become a diverse center as it is today? How did it come like that over the course of the last 15 years?
I think it's an intentional discussion. I think it's changing times. I think there, as you see by the census, there is a different makeup and mix of populations in Dauphin County, which I think, I was talking to a good friend of mine, I'll give you a shout out, Jason Bryant from Jab Boxing and Entertainment. He's like, when I have my friends up from Atlanta and Florida, they love this region because of its diversity. They feel like wherever they come from, that this feels like home and love to them. I just hosted a group at the Cultural Festival 2 years ago from Columbus, Ohio. And it was the commissioners from Columbus, the district attorney, and they came to Harrisburg and they said, there's not a place that they felt more love. And what's crazy is we're so critical of ourselves sometimes, and we always want to see sort of what's wrong with us. I would challenge people, maybe the 16th Cultural Festival, let's start figuring out a way to beat our chests a little bit more and see what's right with us. Because there is more right, and with some of the things that we are able to experience, some of the ways that we've come together. Look at the talent we produce. Look at the talent from music side. I mean, we got the Singers Lounge that provides, they're going to be a part of our cultural festival, but they provide top quality entertainment once a month, and I don't think there's too many people that can top the level of shows that they put on, from professional sports athletes to championship football, basketball, wrestling, soccer teams. I mean, this region really, really exceeds. And when you talk about quality of life, diversity, housing stock, those are things that really make me proud to be from this county.
You mentioned the Singers Lounge, and they're one of 11 acts that are going to be performing on the stage come August 17th, headlined by the legendary Rakim. I mean, you guys bring in such great musical acts every single year. To get one of the best hip-hop artists, rappers of all time, that's got to be pretty special.
It's exciting. Every year we try to bring a big name headliner in. And what we try to do, some people just don't have money to drive to New York, to Philly, to Boston, or to Baltimore and stay overnight and eat someplace. I mean, it takes a toll. So to be able to bring an artist in, and the main goal, as George referred to earlier, is a common ground. I mean, when you go in to ask someone for a donation or some sponsorship, I mean, you try to find a common ground to start with. I mean, and the common ground is music. The common ground is the beat of the foot, that everybody can tap your foot, and that's that common ground. And then the next thing you know, there's conversation. I mean, and I don't want to get too far involved, but I mean, we just had the music series that was sponsored by the county and also the city. We had 6 shows up there. And you talk about diversity. I mean, last night was Latin night. Saturday night was Caribbean, Afro Soul. We had Joe Albright, Jazz Under the Stars, but each crowd was different. And then we had the same, some of the same people that come back. So no, music and the arts, that common ground is huge. And Dauphin County is very, very diverse.
And I think one of the other pieces to the Cultural Festival, which is a huge component, is the idea that, if you're seeking out help, seeking out services, you want to make sure you figure out a way to do that in an environment where you don't have to come into a government setting. It can be in a place where it's discreet. It's a matter of a conversation. A lot of times there are trust issues with people's experiences with the system. And in order to break down some of those walls and figure out ways to build relationships and try to get people help from a mental health, drug and alcohol side, the ability for us to be able to make sure our kids are safe, maybe connecting people with jobs. all of those things are done in, sort of a relationship way, not versus come in, take a number, have a seat, and building those relationships in a community event where families invited, all ages are there. And look, 16 straight years, we've never had an incident.
Yeah.
Never had an incident at the cultural festival,
Never.
and it has always been because I think we lead with respect and love, and that love is received and also given back, and that's something we're also very proud of.
I mean, and George mentioned it, the special thing of the cultural festival is our human service community support groups. Because, I mean, I just had some people come in from Waverly Parker that lived here, moved to Florida, came back for the cultural festival, and he says, "Oh my goodness, Larry," he said, if someone doesn't understand what the county's trying to do and the different resources of help, shame on them, because they shouldn't go. I mean, and we have people from all over, and the city was committed, down there, in the county, and outlying agencies, and all the health agencies and all the human service, social service agencies are there. So it's a place that you could go get help, and then, go over and get some fries and sit down and listen to Rakim.
Yeah. So I mean, I just want to. It's not just rock. You mentioned how diverse musically this is going to be, along with culturally. It's not just Rakim. You're going to have blues. You're going to have R&B. You're going to have You're going to have Irish dance. You're going to have African dance, Chinese dance. It runs the gamut. And everyone. And the great part about having it in a one-day festival is that people are going to be there to see something, but they're going to stick around 30 minutes later, and they're going to get something else completely different.
Yes.
And you're opening yourself up to a world of diversity, which then makes you a better person. Because when we're all a little more open to the diversity around us, we become more understanding of other people's cultures, and we become better people because of it.
Most of the people who prey on the differences do it based upon fear. They do based upon a lack of education and understanding. And if your experiences have not been reflective of multicultures, that can be smelled out and seen from far away. It's usually through your mannerisms, your body language, and truthfully, having faith. And I say this over and over, if you treat people with respect and out of love and dignity, and you do that no matter who they are, that will be received in a way that you'll never see love in exchange in any other way. If you come at somebody and you have sort of a sense of a lack of understanding and fear, people want to keep that away from them. And ultimately, the way we create that understanding is bringing opportunities to bring people together for the right reasons and ways that bring us together. And the Cultural Festival has been one of those staples.
So let me say this, because we've given love to Harrisburg, we've given love to Steelton. Let me give some love to Susquehanna Township.
Hey,
let me give some love.
Yes.
Let me give some love, because growing up in Pittsburgh, I went to a Jewish day school. Did not have and listen, I love my upbringing in Pittsburgh, but did not really experience true diversity until 6th grade, when I moved. Family moved back to Harrisburg, and because my dad's originally from here, so we moved to Harrisburg, and that first year at Susquehanna Township Middle School was really the first time that I experienced true diversity. And Susquehanna Township, in that time period, I mean, just so much diversity around everything.
Yes.
And I mean, they prided themselves on it so much, as they should. And that is, it kind of goes to show just the diversity in Dauphin County, where it really almost like a microcosm, almost. And I think that my time within the Susquehanna Township School District made me a better person because of my understanding for other people's cultural norms and just culturals in general.
Yeah, all the high schools are like that now.
Yeah.
All of the high
great.
schools are very, very, very diverse.
You have to have it. So, again, Dauphin County Cultural Fest coming up August 17th from 3 to 10 p.m. in Riverfront Park. What is it that each of you are looking forward to the most?
The people. I mean, being able to reconnect and connect and serve people, to be able to offer something that folks can afford. I mean, it's my favorite 4-letter word, free. The idea.
It's a great F word.
Well, and again, we do a good job of trying to raise resources to underwrite and to fund this. It's not like it goes, unheard of, and there's no Dauphin County General Fund tax dollars being used to this as well. So these are all corporate sponsors and or monies that are developed through tourism. But ultimately, bringing our community together, and I think trying to figure out a way to alleviate barriers, not create more. And then the response that we get from that kind of investment and the love that is a part of this day. And I think the main thing for me is those folks who understand, but bringing people to help and healing, and seeing somebody connected to some kind of help, service, ministry, affordable housing. Those are the things that for me are worth way more than a paycheck.
Yeah. I mean, it's like George says, I mean, it's almost a 6-7 month process. So a lot of work goes on behind the scenes. We raise money year in, year out. Commissioners have been very, very good with this project. But the biggest thing for me probably is seeing the smiles and the hugs when you go to the event. I mean, I never see the event. I mean, we're all working.
You're just working.
We're making sure people are on time and getting on stage, but to see the brotherly love, sisterly love, black, white, green is tremendous. The smiles. I mean, you can forget for maybe an hour that you don't have to pay the gas bill or the water bill or something like that, or something's going wrong or left at the house. But for an hour, 90 minutes, that you can forget about everything.
Maybe 2 hours.
And 2 hours.
Stay for 7 hours.
But that magic is there for a minute. I mean, and we strive every year for that magic to happen for that individual.
And you were telling me before we started, Larry, that of where you started with the Cultural Fest and the place that you were in your life. So I imagine that seeing those smiles have a little extra meaning.
They have a lot. I mean, I got laid off from the city. The city laid off about 40 administrators, and it was during the basketball season. Commissioner Hartwick said, Larry, hold on until after the season. And I started, 16 years ago and retired now since then. But it's been a big blessing, a blessing that was able to do that. And then for some reason, I started to go on this Capitol Jazz Cruise. And I would see all the entertainment, the R&B, the Hispanic, the jazz entertainers, the top in the world. And next thing you know, George says, who'd you like, who'd you like, who'd you like? And it's changed my life, to be honest with you. It's changed my life. I mean, just like, the summer stuff up at the park, and I still do the Jazz Festival. I still do the Cultural Fest. I mean, and everyone calls me now, to book things. So it's just been an overall blessing.
Some absolutely amazing things going on in Dauphin County right now. You mentioned the July Music Series just wrapped up. Incredible success. Thousands of people showing up to Reservoir Park for that. Got the Dauphin County Cultural Fest on August 17th from 3 to 10 p.m. at Riverfront Park. And also want to show some love coming up in September, the Jazz and Wine Festival in Fort Hunter, which if you haven't gone to the Jazz and Wine Festival, my goodness, you are missing out. Make sure you go to Fort Hunter in September.
Just a shout out quickly to our Parks and Rec staff. They do a phenomenal
Absolutely.
job. It's the people behind the scenes that really put the work in, that are the real heroes to ensure that this thing goes off, all of these events. And the vision of those events are grand, but the execution has been outstanding related to the staff. And then I'd also be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Mayor Wanda Williams and in gratitude to her partnership on these events, as well as my two colleagues, Commissioner Douglas and Commissioner Prees, who have both been stalwart supporters. Commissioner Prees is the oversight of Parks and Rec, and I know Commissioner Douglas has moved into a new role as our new commissioner, but he's also a musician. He's got a lot of excitement around music. I know he's also a preacher, so he's been very, very supportive of all of these events, and I want to thank them for their continued investment in this.
Our task force, too.
Yep, and lastly, we have a cultural diversity task force that is a part of the structure we put together in county government. It's run by Faye Fisher, our director of personnel, and we've got individuals that have been serving in that role for years. They make sure this event is always well planned and goes off, as well as we have the Hispanic American celebration. We've got a series of events that go on throughout the year, recognizing those cultures and ensuring they're a part of our celebrations that we take on every year. So thank you to staff, the people that do the job every day. They make us even prouder to be from Dauphin County.
That is fantastic and a great spot to end on. Thank you both. Larry Moore, Dauphin County Commissioner George Hartwick. Gentlemen, thank you again. This is going to be so much fun. Dauphin County Cultural Fest coming up August 17th from 3 to 10 p.m. at Riverfront Park here in Harrisburg. That's the word. We'll catch you later here on Channel 20 WHBG.